What is going on, guys? What is going on, 27 Squad? Welcome back into another video, and today we are going to be talking about some new Giants updates that the Giants made with roster moves and things like that. So and also we're going to be talking about Austin Mack, and I'm really excited about Austin Mack and the future he has with the New York Giants. I'm not going to sit here and give you guys some sort of over-exaggerated lingo. We're going to talk about Austin Mack and the job he's doing so far with the New York Giants. So let's get right into it. Before we start, guys, make sure you guys hit that like button for me. Helps out the channel a lot. And make sure you guys hit the subscribe button if you guys want to see more content just like this. Let's start off with Austin Mack and the job he's been doing so far with the New York Giants in getting some playing time. We all know that due to certain circumstances, the Giants had to elevate Austin Mack. At one point, he was the first of the undrafted rookies, was the first of the practice squad guys to be elevated onto the active roster out of the wide receivers on the practice squad. Was the first guy to be elevated at one point, but then he got hurt and he was then demoted again. But this time he got another chance. They activated him again and he showed out. Obviously, he had not a very good debut, as but leading into this game, he had one catch for 1 yard in, I believe, 2 games. So that being said, in a total 2 games. So that being said, this is a total 180 from his production in the past 2 games. And I've got to say that I'm impressed with Austin Mack. I'm not going to sit here and say he's going to be the next, Victor Cruz and he's going to outplay Darius Slayton. And although he did in this game, Darius Slayton was kind of silent throughout the whole entire game. Sterling Shepard was getting a lot of looks instead, but it adds a really good balance. It adds more talent to the wide receiver position. And let me tell you, I was completely dead on Austin Mack. I told you guys I liked Austin Mack better than Benjamin Victor. I thought he had a better chance to make it in the NFL than Benjamin Victor, not because of size and speed, because obviously Benjamin Victor has those traits. But if you just watch Victor and Mack play at Ohio State, you could see that Austin Mack was just more NFL ready. He was able to run better routes. He knew, where to sit. He doesn't create a lot of separation, but he always caught the ball in tight coverage. I felt like he was the best fit in the NFL, and he definitely proved that, and the Giants recognized that, as well as he was the first wide receiver we had on the practice squad brought up to the active roster. So that's just impressive. It really is impressive. And I hear that we still have Corey Coleman on the practice squad, and he's still yet to be on the active roster. Or I think maybe we worked him out. I don't know if he's exactly on the practice squad. But that being said, Austin Mack's doing great. But what is it with Austin Mack? Like, what makes him, what made him really show out? Well, I think it's just his ability to catch the ball in traffic. Now, he did have a really good out and up route, right, on zone defense. He caught the defense slipping. It looked like they were playing some sort of cover 2, right? He had the defender in the slot, totally missed him. You saw him going up. There was no safety help whatsoever. He found that soft spot in cover 2, which is, in the intermediate boundaries, and was able to make a nice catch. The route itself that he ran was okay. It was very smooth, but not a lot of, crazy cuts in there or whatever it is. I mean, it was fine. I don't think it was the route that really made him open. I think it was just the game plan, the play call. So that's just good play calling by Jason Garrett on that cover 2. And, the rest of his catches after that, besides that 50-yard bomb, the rest of the catches after that were tight coverage catches. Exactly what I thought Austin Mack's really his strength is, as a wide receiver. I thought, he's able to catch the ball a lot in traffic and make those contested grabs. And, when he's not open, he's open. So when he doesn't seem to be open, he's open. The rest of his catches were really, really, sharp and on point, being with how tight the coverage was. So that being said, Austin Mack proved me right to the T. Let's see how he does this Sunday against the Philadelphia Eagles and for the rest of the season. But so far, he's on track to prove your boy right. By the way, let's look at some receipts, right? That's what the kids say these days, the receipts on what I thought about Austin Mack. Just about 2 examples of what I thought about Austin Mack in the past. We then move on to Austin Mack. And like I said, this may be a hot take to a lot of you guys. I already talked to some Giants fans. They like Benjamin Victor more. I like Austin Mack more. Yes, he doesn't have the height. He's 2 inches shorter than Benjamin Victor, but I'm telling you right now, he's already probably the tallest guy on the team at standing at 6'2", so that is a start. He weighs almost 20 pounds more than Benjamin Victor, only 2 inches shorter. He's a lot stronger. You can see it. He beats press man. Even when he's in tight coverage, he still catches the ball. He is Mr. Contested Ball. The next receiver we move on to is Austin Mack. Now, Austin Mack, I love him. I think he's more of a fit in the NFL than Benjamin Victor, just because Austin Mack has the ability to catch in traffic. He catches those tight balls in tight coverage, and part of the reason is because he does not force a lot of separation. He can't separate from defensive backs, which is a bad thing, and which worries me going into the NFL. But in my honest opinion, I think Austin Mack has better hands, better route runner as well. I think he can have success in the NFL. All right, so now let's get on to some roster moves. Now, I'm a little late on this. Obviously, I just wanted to wait to make this video. But the Giants have announced, and I made an article on Fan Network. If you guys aren't familiar with that, check the link in the description below. The Giants also waived Corey Ballentine. Now, remember Corey Ballentine, former 6th-round pick out of Washburn, really athletic, a special team standout. This is a guy that won the second cornerback role job this year. His career seemed to be promising, right? A former 6th-round pick, and his first year as a rookie, he was able to work his way up to first-team reps in training camp and get first-team reps in the preseason. Even had an interception in the preseason, also in training camp. I mean, this guy started off fantastic to his career. Then the season came along, it was inconsistent, and then we're like, hey, maybe he'll get another shot next season. That comes along, he just seemed to be a liability on the field. So I think the Giants felt it was best to part ways with Corey Ballentine, being that the Giants are getting a little bit more production out of Isaac Yiadom. Say what you want about Isaac Yiadom, he's not the best corner around, but he's been serviceable. So they felt it was best to let go of Corey Ballentine. So, it didn't necessarily shock me. I just thought it was a little unexpected, I guess that could be put as the same thing, but it didn't necessarily shock me. I thought at some point you may be able to see Corey Ballentine off this roster, but I didn't think it would be too soon, being that we're still dealing with some cornerback issues with the number 2 corner spot, and we just need depth there. Not saying Corey Ballentine really made a difference, but we just need depth there, being that Ryan Lewis, who we just signed, who is our no doubt number 2 corner that everybody's crowning him as, he's been hurt, and Isaac Yiadom's been having to fill in his place, and it just seems that position is pretty much in limbo right now. So I felt like it was a little too early to let go of Corey Ballentine, but I'm okay with it. It is what it is. I was a huge fan of Corey Ballentine's, but he's a guy that I really put my trust in. I really came out here on this channel and said that he could be the guy at number 2 corner, and he did not prove me right. So it is, it is what it is to cut ties with him. But in a corresponding move, the Giants have reactivated Will Hernandez off of the COVID-19 list, so that means he will be back. It's going to be very interesting to see what he will do with Shane Lemieux. Now, Joe Judge did come out and say that he wants to work him back, with Shane Lemieux, which makes no sense because the guy's not hurt. Will Hernandez is not hurt, so it's very, very peculiar why Joe Judge says we want to work him back up to speed. That makes no sense. He's perfectly fine. And just say you want a guard competition with your former 2nd-round pick, with a former 2nd-round pick, and your 5th-round pick. So, Shane Lemieux's been playing great. It's no coincidence at all that the offensive line on the interior is able to open up a lot in the run game. Wayne Gallman has a lot to do with it as well, being that he has a really good ability to stay patient and bounce to where he needs to go and hit the holes he needs to hit. And he gets very skinny, he gets very, slim and can fit through small spaces. But Shane Lemieux has been doing a really good job at run blocking as well. Now, Will Hernandez is supposed to be his specialty, right? He's supposed to be a better version of Shane Lemieux. It's just we haven't seen it so far this year. Don't know where the inconsistencies are really stemming from, but it's going to be very interesting to see, and a good problem to have 2 pretty good guards and have them battle it out. So I don't know. Who knows? We get crazy and we see Will Hernandez Hernandez on the bench and Shane Lemieux in the starting lineup, then maybe we could trade Will Hernandez. Who knows? At the end of the season. So very interesting with that one. And then the last part of the news here, the last part of the yesterday's news is that the Giants have activated Dante Pettis, who we picked up on waivers from the San Francisco 49ers, former second round pick. And this is a guy that reminds me a lot of Darius Slayton himself. So, or like a Kenny Stills or a Will Fuller type guy. So, I mean, that being said, Dante Pettis is going to be on the active roster. You know, he has to go through COVID protocol. Once you go on to another team, you got to like quarantine, I guess, for a week or so. So now he is active. He should be able to play this Sunday. So that means we'll have Sterling Shepard, Darius Slayton, if we ever get to see him, because he's just been overshadowed by these other players. But Darius Slayton, Sterling Shepard, Austin Mack, CJ Board, who we haven't been getting a lot to see from because, you know, Austin Mack's been doing very well, and Dante Pettis. So that's going to be very, very interesting to see there. And obviously we'll see what happens with Golden Tate. He will be our 6th wide receiver on the roster. I don't know if the Giants are going to make any moves and get rid of CJ Board, but they have to do something, I guess. I don't know. But it will be very nice to have 6 wide receivers on the roster. Don't get me wrong. I just don't think the Giants are going to do it. And last but not least, we have Tay Crowder, designated to return off of IR. By the way, that means another roster spot needs to be filled. Another roster spot needs to be replaced. So it's going to be very interesting to see who gets cut in place of Tay Crowder. I assume it's going to be that linebacker we had just signed. I haven't really seen too much of him, so we may let go of that linebacker and put back Tay Crowder. And I love the rotation, the potential rotation we'll have with Tay Crowder, David Mayo, and Blake Martinez. Of course, Blake Martinez being the surefire first inside linebacker, and then in kind of rotation with Tay Crowder and David Mayo, you know, the run stopping ability and the pass coverage ability. Going to be very interesting to see how that plays out. But we got a glimpse of that in the first Washington game, and that's where Tay Crowder got hurt. But David Mayo was also active for that game as well, just not taking as much snaps, being that he was just coming back of from IR. So Tay Crowder should be back. They're saying that they're eyeing a return this week against Philadelphia for Tay Crowder, so he might be a late, last minute kind of activation onto the active roster, but he is practicing, and he has a 21-day window to come back off of injury. So, we'll see what happens. We will definitely see what happens. If they're that confident that he will play this weekend, I think he will play this weekend, and if not, he'll just play next week. I don't think it'll ever get past that 21-day window if they were, they're having him practice already. So that being said, guys, that is an update. Everything to put together along with Austin Mack and what I thought about him and how he's proven me right so far this season. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Leave a like if you guys enjoyed. Subscribe if you guys are new. I'll see you guys in the next video. Woo!